You ready for drama? Let's start with drama. Let's kick the drama off immediately. Now, we're not waiting. We're going to go straight for the drama. Now, last stream, I spoke at length in a way that, on reflection, I shouldn't have. I made many statements, many observations, which were, upon reflection, made out of ignorance. And I was wrong. I know. It happens sometimes. The reason I learned I was wrong was because people, after I'd made this long speech, contacted me with information, with facts, with feelings, with opinions, and someone get the ukulele. We might need it soon. With all the information, and whenever someone says, do better, what they mean it. This is not a Dave redemption arc. No, Dave is in the mud. Don't help Dave. Whenever someone says do better, improve, it means that you need to actually be willing to take on board feedback, to take on board new information, to reassess your opinions, because if you just hold one opinion for your entire life, you're either absolutely goddamn 100% sure of it, or you are sticking your fingers in your ears and blocking out any new information and basically saying, la la la, I can't hear you, nothing will ever change. The ability to react to new information and change is pretty important to us. So, I spoke about, and I did two major mistakes when I was talking about this. I spoke about the inclusion of female custodies in the Warhammer 40k game and lore. And that, of course, was on the Twitch stream, so it was clipped by Visa and uploaded to the Josh Strife Says YouTube channel. And within 24 hours of that clip being there, no less, because it got taken down quicker, within, I want to say, like 10 hours of that, the amount of hate mail that was received was absolutely insane. Like my personal email, my business email, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, just floods of stuff. Amongst all of this incredibly emotional response to one side or the other, there were people that had legitimate information, legitimate updates, and legitimate points to put forward. And to ignore all of those would be, remiss of me. So I didn't. I thought, okay, I'll sit down, I'll read them. The first thing is the YouTube comments section is not the best place to have a nuanced, civilized discussion. Because the very act of it being public, as in other people can read your comments, often pushes people to the more extremes of opinions. It's better than Reddit, yes it is. But the fact that when you have a public discussion, people tend to get more defensive than they would normally get. And people tend to get more aggressive than they would normally get, because they not only have to put their point forward, they have to be seen fighting for their team, that kind of thing. Which is why the old phrase in business, public praise, private criticism. If you're going to say something good about something, great, say it in public, let people see all about that. If you want to say something critical of someone, because I've had conversations with people in public where they've been incredibly aggressive about holding one opinion or the other, and when I say, hey, let's just take this somewhere quiet, just you and me, and chat about it. And once it's just me and them, they're much more chill. And what you realize is that a lot of the arguments people have are performative. They need to be seen by other people for the drama to continue. So what happened was this. It was like a tribalism thing. The reason I asked Visa to take the clip down was because I realized after a lot of people had given me a load of extra information that the information I was putting out was wrong, and it was ignorant in a couple of ways. And some people say to me, leave the videos up, own your ignorance, which normally I would do. I've done that with a lot of videos in the past. I've left them up and then I've made an apology video saying, look, I was wrong here. The reason I asked this one to be taken down, and Visa thankfully was respectful enough to do it, was because the video was not generating nuanced, civilized discussion. It was generating an incredible amount of hate. And that wasn't productive or conductive to anything apart from just potentially abuse toward me and other communities that were involved in it. So I said, hey, this is not productive, take this down, I'll put out an update video, which is probably what this is going to be, depending on how Visa clips it. The first thing is, female custodies were recently added to Warhammer 40k. And some people had an issue with the fact they were added at all, other people had an issue with the way they were added. And I didn't fully understand people's issues until a few people made them more obvious to me. Female representation within Warhammer 40k has often been lacking. There's no way you can deny that. People will say things like, oh, but they've got the Sisters of Battle, and Tyranids are mostly agender. But there's no denying that it's a male-dominated hobby. That's just, I mean, you look at the people that are buying it, you walk into a Games Workshop shop, it's a male-dominated hobby. And when they introduced, hey, the custodies, the personal guard of the Emperor, are now female, or include females, they did it in a way of saying, they've always been there. Okay. That, and someone explained this to me, that actually can in some ways come across as slightly patronizing to women who have wanted to get into Warhammer 40k but have not seen themselves represented within the faction they wanted to be represented within. As in, a woman saying, hey, it'd be really cool if we had this, and then Games Workshop effectively turning around and saying, actually, you've always had this. I don't know what your problem is. It's always been there. That's a you problem. They've always been there. Well, they've never been included in models or stories or games or representations at all. That, I think, was what people saw as insulting. It wasn't so much, hey, a woman has completed the Custodes training and has succeeded and should be respected. It is, actually, this thing has always been there, and I don't know what you're complaining about, because historically it hasn't always been there, and that's one of the complaints. The second complaint was people didn't want women to be in custodies at all. There was another complaint about people changing the law, and then I did something wrong. I did something that I need to apologize for. I belittled the people who disagreed with me, and I should not do that. We should not do that. The truth is, we're all human, and it feels good to attack sometimes. It does. It feels good to attack. It feels good to be the one with power. It feels good to be the one wearing the boot, pushing it down. You can't deny that. But unfortunately, you have to occasionally step back and say to yourself, what are you trying to achieve here? What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to achieve that personal feeling of satisfaction of attacking someone, or are you actually trying to achieve change for the better? And if you're trying to achieve change for the better, you can't attack people into agreeing with you. That doesn't work. And if anything, all it does is increase the division between the two sides, if you will, right and wrong. So when I was watching that clip back, I realized that I'd actually stepped over the line, not from just, hey, this is what people are annoyed at, but into the territory of, and I'm going to mock you if you disagree. That's wrong. We don't do that. We don't attack the person, we attack the argument, and in that clip, I attacked the person. I was wrong with doing that, and that's why I said to Visa, take this down, because this, first of all, is a terrible representation of how you should discuss things. It is an embarrassing representation of me, and it is causing more harm than it is, helping out with people's understanding. It was no longer a clip about understanding. It was no longer a clip about discussion. It was now a clip about attacking and mocking and accusing people who had different opinions that they were effectively wrong and stupid. And we shouldn't have done that. That's why I said to Visa, take this down. Now, people have said to me, oh my God, I can't believe you sold out. From a views point of view, that clip was doing absolute numbers. That clip would get way more than this clip will. So as far as making money goes, it was a good point to leave that up. But as far as trying to put out information and opinions and discussion onto the internet that leaves the world a better place and not makes it a more shit place, this clip is probably going to be a better one. Occasionally I do have to kind of reassess what I think and what I feel and take on board the opinions that people message me. And when they say, hey Josh, the reason that you were wrong is this, that's fine. Yeah, everyone in the chat right now, you're in the YouTube video, feel free to say hi YouTube. We need to be able to reassess our opinions. So when someone said to me, the change in the custodies actually insulted the people that it was meant to represent by claiming they had always been represented and it was effectively their fault for not noticing, that comes across as patronizing. The fact that there has been absolutely no representation within the last 20 years of that, and then the retcon is, it's always been like this, that was not the best way to do it. I reassessed. Yeah, that's what it is. Now, recently, people will get involved in drama, they'll choose a position, they'll stay by it forever. I'm sure some people will continue attacking me and I'll get more messages saying, hey, I can't believe you've done this, I can't believe you said that, I can't believe you said the other. But the other point is that maybe I'm just not the most knowledgeable person about this situation, and I don't need to champion it. It doesn't need to be me. So that's why I said to Visa, take it down. The female custodies discussion happened a couple of months ago. It has happened through people that are far more knowledgeable than me about all of it, and ultimately attacking people that disagree might sometimes involve getting into conflict with people who have been involved in the hobby for a long time, or people who are just coming to the hobby. What we don't want to do is create a divisive divide between us versus them, because us versus them divides tend to not go well over the long term. That was the issue. Maybe he's waiting for chat sign. No, I'm just keep talking. That's what I do. But you haven't sung your apology. My ukulele is on order. As soon as the ukulele gets here, that's the thing. But I think that's what it was. When I was watching that clip back, I kind of had a moment where I sat back and I thought, ah, shit. It's not that I disagree with the general principle. It's that the process created us versus them. The process created an in-group and an out-group. The process created mockery and attack and division, and that is not the way that we actually get people to work together in a civilized and polite manner. It doesn't work. Absolutely doesn't work. If you view someone who has a different opinion as an enemy and you attack the person instead of their opinion, their argument, or their reasoning, then you have effectively lost the argument, because you're no longer arguing in favor of anything. You're now arguing against someone's right to exist. So I said to Visa, take it down. This is not productive. This is not the society that I want to live in. This is not the culture that I want to contribute to. And I could either dig my heels in and be stubborn and say, no, I totally agree with this. This is 100% right. Or I can attempt a bit of self-reflection and realize that actually there were mistakes that I made and I should have improved that and do better than that. That's what I'm trying to do. Now, let's read the chat. I thought the Sunday stream started later. We've been talking about the past stream for the last 20 minutes. You've missed nothing. Yeah, you've missed absolutely nothing. I think that so to sum it up, the female custodies argument could have been handled better, but attacking people that agree or disagree with any aspect of that is not how we're going to have a Warhammer community work together. I bet you're not wearing shoes with heels. You couldn't dig your heels in anyway. No, I'm actually wearing slippers, because obviously they're comfortable. And I'm an old man. Fully in my old man arc. You don't get a foot cam. I'm wearing lovely, comfortable slippers, even though it's like 1,000,000,000 degrees outside. So occasionally I will mess up, I will do something human, and I'll have to reassess, readjust, and think, right, how can I better create the culture that I want to live in instead of creating more division and more aggression within it? That's not what we should be doing. Feet for free. You didn't even see the toes. You don't get the grippers. You do not get the user alert. I'm human. I hate it. I hate it so much. Sorry for bringing this up before the stream even properly started. Hope you get way less hate mail. I won't. I'll get even more. Because people will now look at me as being a chard. They'll put it as being a shill. They'll put it through as not having convictions. Sometimes self-assessment and reassessment and self-reflection takes a long time, and you don't know exactly what you're going to think or feel before you have a lot of input from a lot of different people. And it's totally okay to say, you know what? I don't know enough about this to voice my opinion yet, because I know that thousands of people will hear it and copy it and parrot it without understanding what they're saying. And if I'm not understanding what I'm saying to the degree that I need to, then maybe I shouldn't say it to other people. I have a level of social responsibility, and in that case, in that situation specifically, I did not hold myself to the standard that I should have done. My social responsibility was not upheld, and it did not create the cultural society that I want to live in. So we took it down, we reassess, we grow, we redo.